Hello, my name is John King, and today I will be making a kit that will have all the necessary components to creating your own orthodontic retainers. If you have a retainer, you might know how easy it is to lose or break one and how expensive they are to replace. This kit is designed to contain everything you will need to make your retainer except for the thermoforming sheets. A molding cup, 2 powder cases, 2 impression trays, and a lid will all be thermoformed with sheets of PETG plastic. This is the standard in orthodontics as it is food safe, hygienic, and durable. The first thing that I did was mark a 6-inch diameter circle on top of a 3-inch thick piece of rigid foam. Next, I cut out that circle with a vertical bandsaw. After smoothing this out on a belt sander, I tilted it to draft the mold down to a 5¼ inch base. After I was done shaping the mold, I stapled a sheet of 0.03 inch thick PETG onto my 12x12 thermoforming frame. Then it was into the toaster at 400 degrees until the plastic began to sag significantly. This one actually sat in the oven too long. It hit the toaster's grill and ruined the sheet. Because of some technical difficulties, I didn't make it to the thermoforming machine before the sheet began to cool and take shape. I heated up another sheet, and this one took shape perfectly. Too perfectly. The hot plastic and the mold bonded, and it was extremely hard to pull them apart without breaking the plastic. To fix this, I covered the mold in masking tape. This was to prevent sticking. This worked well, and I was able to separate the next sheet and the molding cup was complete. Next, I cut the base off of the mold and split it into 2 equal pieces to make the molds for the powder cases. I formed these in the same fashion and sanded all the pieces to be flush with each other. Because of all my failed attempts, I did not have enough PETG to form the lid and the impression trays. I tried it once with a sheet of polycarbonate as well as some used PETG. Both attempts proved unsuccessful. The final assembly sadly does not have a lid or impression trays that were formed by myself. Luckily, I already picked up some professional impression trays from Amazon for about $2 for a set. The impressions will be taken in a life casting material called alginate. This can be found on Amazon, and the retainer kit comes with 40 grams of alginate and 100 grams of perfect casting material for creating the positive tooth molds out of the alginate impressions. Now that the assembly is complete, we can now make a retainer. Today I will be making one for my roommate Mason, whose retainer broke last month. First, mix half of the alginate with 60 grams of water. You should have a 1:3 alginate to water weight ratio. For this, you will need your water to be about 80 degrees. Mix the alginate quickly until it is smooth. Pushing it to the sides of the bowl will help to expel any air bubbles which can greatly affect the impression quality. After loading the alginate into the impression trays, firmly place the tray onto the patient's teeth, completing one impression at a time. Wait 2 to 3 minutes for each impression to firm and remove. After the impressions have set, mix a 1/6 cup of water with all the casting powder. The casting powder to water ratio is actually the opposite, at a 3:1 volume ratio. Quickly load the impressions with casting mix from one side to prevent air cavities in the mold. After 20 to 30 minutes, the molds will harden and you can remove the alginate impressions from the mold. Next, you will make the retainers. To do this, you will need a vacuum forming machine. I created one easily at home, and there are many tutorials on YouTube to show you how to as well. Back at the shop, I heated up another sheet of PETG and vacuum formed over the molds to make the retainers. After cooling, I used Dremel tools, the bandsaw, and the sander to smooth out the molds, but really anybody could do this at home with an X-Acto knife. The results aren't quite as perfect as getting one at your orthodontist, but it will definitely hold you over if you don't feel like giving up your rent for the month for a trip to their office.